Now that you shut up, we can go to my story. No, you know, the thing of it is, that's why I stopped going to chat rooms. Because here's, you know how I am. If somebody, well, you people don't, but you do. If somebody asks me a question, if they ask me a question directly, I have a tendency to just answer it without really thinking about the answer. Like, I'll just, you know, if you ask me a direct question, I'm just going to answer it,
right,
whether I want to or not, because you've asked me a question. And when I used to go to chat rooms a lot, you know, I would get the ASL crap, and I would just answer it, just out of, like, habit, out of reflex, whatever. And now, remember, I have been in a committed relationship for coming up on 10 years in 2 months, which is scary as shit to say. 10 years. So that gives you an idea of how long I have not been on the market. And I would tell them, I would answer their question, and they would instantly go, oh, well, you're not my type. I'm not interested. And it's like, I wasn't asking. I don't care. We're not doing that. I don't know what your problem is. You know, it's like they just take for granted that because I'm there, I want sex, and because I'm there, I want sex with them, and neither is necessarily true. While times may come when I do want sex, trust me, you shallow piece of crap, I don't want it from you. I don't. You know, and really, not to sound sort of stuck up my own ass, but I'm gonna. A lot of people want to have sex with me anyway already. They aren't getting it either. So, you know, if you really think that I have to come to you, you're wrong.
Not just that. You also have a boyfriend, and, you know, you don't need them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People, you know, some guys would talk to me, and they would ask, you know, the ones who could get their heads out of their own asses would talk to me after they already told me that that I wasn't their type, like I asked. And then they would ask me if I have a boyfriend, and I'm like, yeah, and they always seem shocked. They always seem so shocked. Not only do they seem shocked, but they seem shocked that my boyfriend is, because there sometimes were pictures, that he's so attractive. But you think I can't land a hot guy because of me? Really? You know nothing about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know nothing of the dazzling tricks these hands are capable of. You have no idea. And because you're a shallow asshole, you will never find out.
Pretty much.
Isn't that depressing for you? I think gay culture has become entirely too based on appearance and not enough on substance of character.
Yeah, it really, really, really has, and you know, that's the perfect way to put it.
And I think if it continues that way, we aren't going to have a culture very much longer.
Nope.
It's going to collapse in on itself. And we're going to be forced to go back to like it was in the 50s, where, you know, oh, Dick and Tom, they're friends. You know, friends.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. It's not up for discussion. It's not out there. And I don't care. I don't care what the fuck happens. I am not going back in the closet for any of you motherfuckers with your visible abs. Not one of you.
No, I agree.
Not one of you. Yeah, I said it.
No, it's funny. You bring up a good, you know, point about how, you know, there's not enough substance. Everybody just focuses on one thing. Like, there's a guy who shall remain nameless that I know refuses to date anybody that does not work out and is not, let's say, a size. Okay, so I don't even know what the appropriate size now is of jeans, whatever.
It changes. It gets thinner and thinner every week.
Yeah. And, you know, it cracks me up because, you know, he'll talk about it, and then it'll last maybe 2 weeks before he moves on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, well, that's great. Boyfriends should not be like popsicles. You know?
They're not handbags. You don't get one to match their outfit, you know? You're supposed to meet someone and fall in love with their personality, not their waistline.
Yeah, well, apparently, you know, personality is, you know, non-existent thing now. Too many people are like, oh, you work out, you have abs, you're perfect.
Considering some of the gay men I've met of late, I think you're right. There are no personalities left.
Mm-hmm.
None. I meet these people, and I'm like, you just to quote Kathy Griffin, you're just a hanger with a head. Clothes look good on you. That's it.
Yeah, and we will be right back.
Mm-hmm.
To touch lightly on something that I said real quick, because this will be the last part. Before I started dating the guy, David, that I'm dating now, I had, like, all these sets of rules that I did not want in, partner, boyfriend, husband, whatever. Like, I didn't want to date a smoker. I didn't want to date somebody who drank, so on and so forth. And when I moved in with David, he smoked, he drank, and, really good personality. He made me laugh, all that other bullshit. And, I slowly realized that if you pre-start a relationship with I don't want this and this, by the time you find somebody, you're going to be like 80.
You know what makes me laugh about that?
Mm.
See, that's sort of the difference between you and I. You can tell which one of us had the trauma growing up. Because when I was a kid, I had a set of lists too, but on my list, everything on my list was based purely on personality, and they were all positive things that I wanted. Like, I wanted a guy with a sense of humor.
Yep.
I wanted a guy who was smart. I wanted a guy who cared about me. That's really all I wanted. I didn't care if he smoked. I didn't care if he drank. I didn't care what he looked like. I just wanted him to be nice.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I wanted. And I think I have that in my guy. He's sweet. He's cute. He makes me laugh. I make him laugh. Sometimes I want to punch his head off. But, hey, that's just relationships for you. You can't be with someone for 10 years and be like, every day is a dream, because it's not. It's just not.
No, I agree.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry.
And David just made a great point. He just said practically the same thing you said. Don't, before you start a relationship, don't go, okay, well, I don't want this, this, and this, and this. Before you start a relationship, and pick good qualities that you want. Be like, oh, well, I want this person to be, like you said, smart, funny, so on and so forth.
I really, if ever I was back on the market, I just want a guy with a good sense of humor and a huge penis. That's really all I care about.
You're terrible. David just said the same thing, yeah.
See? Because that's what's important. It's not the looks that's important, people. It's the size of the penis. And does it work? That's what you want.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
You want a good-sized penis that is up when it needs to be and down when it needs to be, okay?
Oh, my God.
That's really all you have to care about.
And this, will oddly, on an odd topic and odd end, will conclude, this week's There, I Said It.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah,
don't you know anything about me?
Yeah, I said it, whichever.
You're an idiot. Yeah, I said it. No.
That's pretty much it. We'll let everybody know when the next one's going to be. Feel free to have any, questions or whatever. If you want to ask us anything, add something to our video. Maybe we'll do a little response to you directly if you have any questions. But that's about it. So, bye.
Mahalo.